Hello, welcome back to NPC Stories, where today we are diving into the world of gnomes. I realized after I announced in my last video that I was going to do gnomes that we have already done a lot of gnomes here. But they're my favorite race and you can never have too many gnomes, so here we go. I have gnomes and halflings in my campaign, and while they occupy sort of the same niche in society, they are native to two entirely different continents, which is how the two races separately but similarly developed. Gnomes in my campaign are native to the same continent as the Rava, but unlike the Rava, who are happy to fight in whatever fight is worth fighting for at the time, gnomes are rather peaceful and try to remain outside of the fighting. But most gnomes have pretty big hearts and hate to see other people mistreated, so for this reason they try to place themselves in positions where they can aid those who need their help. Otherwise they just kind of keep to themselves and stick to what they know best. It's pretty much one or the other. The Carlins fall into the passive category, preferring to keep to themselves, their kind, and their work, which is gem cutting. Spiniana Carlin is the master gem cutter in her small town. She has been training since a very, very young age and has surpassed even her master in skill. She has dedicated her life to developing new and better techniques to advance her field, whether that is just a better way to cut gems for jewelry, or a better pattern to hold certain magical spells in certain magical gems. She no longer speaks to most of her family as they have abandoned the craft of gem cutting in pursuit of wealth. Spiniana is an older gnome of average height with blonde hair just beginning to turn white and gray eyes. She is lean but crooked as she has spent most of her life bent over a jeweler's desk. She wears simple common clothes and magnifying spectacles on the tip of her nose. Like a niece. Spiniana takes her business and her craft very seriously, and won't spare a minute out of her busy day on anyone who thinks less of it. She is very hard on Longy, her apprentice and great-nephew, but is also very proud of him because he came back to the family's crafting. Longy Carlin's parents amassed some wealth by cooperating with the humans and feeding them intel about the elves. While he certainly enjoys the comforts that come with wealth, he is fascinated by the art, skill, and knowledge required to cut gems. Longy is a young gnome at 24 with blonde hair, blue eyes, and a short stature, even for a gnome. His clothes are finely made, but he isn't particularly careful with them, and so they have suffered some wear and tear. Longy is eager to please both his aunt and any customers, but is not allowed to craft anything himself. He greatly respects his aunt and tries to copy all aspects of her life, for better or worse. The Whitewheats try to take a more active stance in aiding those who are suppressed. Anabi Whitewheat was always a quiet and shy gnome, but felt badly for those that were being mistreated in the cities. So she and her brother moved there and opened an inn called the Backwall, and welcomed everyone of every race and background. Gammon Whitewheat, her younger brother, agreed with her, and his strong sense of honor motivated him to help. However, he does have a wild streak and does tend to get into some mischief. They have a badger friend that moved with them from the forest and stays at the inn. His name is Tanuki, and if anyone asks, they claim he is a dog. Tanuki is very loyal to the Whitewheats, but is also easily bribed with food. Anabi and Gammon are tall gnomes, standing at 3'10" and 4 feet respectively. They are also albinos, with white hair, pale skin, and red eyes. They are surprisingly muscled, though Gammon is broader than Anabi. In the forest, the rumor was that one of their distant ancestors was a dwarf. Anabi likes to see the best in people, and so she tends to overlook any shady business going on in her inn. Gammon is usually involved in the shady business. They are both friendly and welcoming to all, but do not tolerate intolerance in their inn. Jolin serves as a master monk at a hidden monastery. She began her life amongst the gnomes of the forest, but her wanderlust called her to the sea, and from there she traveled around the world, studying with anyone who would teach her, and training to become a master of weapons. She has many tales about her time upon the seas, but eventually settled at a monastery on her home continent, where she now teaches other youngsters seeking to find their place in the world. She's considered one of the kinder mentors at the monastery, but that doesn't mean she goes easy on her students, and they have a healthy respect for her power and her prowess. Jola has dark hair, green eyes, and tan skin. She is small and trim, but has an intimidating presence. She always wears loose, comfortable clothes, and carries a whip at all times, though she is also very proficient with a net and trident. Jola has a naturally friendly demeanor, as many gnomes do, but tries to maintain a stoic and serious manner, as a master monk should. However, she picked up some colorful language and phrases during her time at sea, and uses those liberally. There are some more gnomes for you! If you really enjoyed this one and you want to learn about more gnomes, I've done 2 other videos on gnomes because I can't seem to stop myself. I'll link them up here. As always, I hope this was somehow helpful or inspiring to you. You can let me know by liking this video, or you can find me on Twitter at NPC Stories. If you want to see more NPCs in the future, go ahead and subscribe to my channel, and you can join me next week as we talk about side quest NPCs. What does that mean? Tune in and find out.